What's up guys, my name is Arina and welcome back to my channel where I review everything tech. Today I got two phones that couldn't be more different from each other, an iPhone 11 Pro Max and a Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Both of these brands and these particular models already have a huge following of dedicated fans. However, what these two flagship smartphones have in common is their top-of-the-line cameras. So in this video, I'm gonna compare the cameras of these two phones, but let's first look at their tech specs. We have triple cameras on both of these phones. One of the main differences is that we have the 16-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 against 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera on the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And when it comes to the apertures of these cameras, we have larger aperture on the ultra-wide camera of the Note 10 when compared to the 11 Pro Max, so we can expect lighter wide-angle photos from the Galaxy Note 10. Also, the Note 10 has the advantage of having a dual aperture of 1.5 and 2.4 on the main camera against the aperture of 1.8 on the main camera of the iPhone 11 Pro Max. And when it comes to the telephoto cameras, the iPhone 11 Pro Max got slightly larger aperture than the Galaxy Note 10, so we'll see how this translates in the real-world comparison. And in this video, as always, we'll take a look at some daylight photos, night shots, wide-angle shots and wide-angle videos, selfies, photos taken in challenging light conditions, and much more. And of course, I'll test the side-by-side video quality and stabilization. Let's start with some portrait photos. I really like the portrait from the Note 10 here, it looks so clean, but at the same time, the 11 Pro Max provides this vibrant photo. My skin looks tan and the sky looks more dramatic, while the Note 10 makes my skin look more pale, and the sky just looks somewhat plain in the shot. However, I picked this photo from the Note 10 to post on Instagram, so I guess this is my choice in this particular example. And let's look at another two portraits from these phones. The 11 Pro Max produced a very bright portrait with beautiful vibrant background, while the photo from the Note 10 looks kinda dull here. By the way, the separation from the background is amazing in both of these photos. And now let's look at these photos of the iced tea, also taken in a portrait mode. And honestly guys, I was trying really hard to take a proper photo with a strong focus on the iPhone 11 Pro Max, but after like 6 shots, I give up. So yeah, it is what it is. Next, let's look at some random daylight photos. And here, the photo from the Note 10 looks brighter and more vibrant when compared to the photo from the 11 Pro Max. However, if you look at the sky, it looks very detailed in the shot from the 11 Pro Max, while it looks quite plain in the photo from the Note 10. Let's look at the next example. And once again, we get a brighter and more vibrant shot from the Note 10. But guys, look at the sky in the photo from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. The sky looked really dramatic that day, just before the rain started, and I'm glad the iPhone has managed to depict it just like it was in real life. Also, you can see some difference in color temperatures. The photo from the Galaxy Note 10 looks much warmer when compared to the photo from the iPhone 11 Pro Max. A few more daylight photos for you guys. And these two shots were taken in somewhat challenging light conditions, where both phones had to properly expose highlights in the sky, while also dealing with shadows at the bottom of the photos. And while the sky looks pretty similar to me, I would say that the Note 10 has definitely done a better job when it comes to exposure and colors of the suitcases. The next two shots were taken in more challenging light conditions, where we got this contrast between the dark clouds and the sun still shining through them. We can see beautiful sun rays in both of the shots. The photo from the Note 10 looks pretty dark with very dramatic looking clouds, while the 11 Pro Max produced a very bright photo. But of course, it's always about the preferences. Now let's look at some photos taken indoors with artificial lights. Now let's talk about the front-facing cameras. We have 12 megapixels on the iPhone 11 Pro Max and 10 megapixels on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. And when it comes to apertures, these cameras have equal apertures of 2.2. And now let's look at some selfies. The skin texture definitely looks more pronounced in the selfies from the iPhone 11 Pro Max, while the Galaxy Note 10 makes skin look softer. Also, you can see that all the shadows around my eyes and the neck are highlighted in the photo from the Note 10, while the 11 Pro Max produces a more contrasty looking selfie. Next, let's look at the wide-angle selfies. And let's take a look at some portrait selfies. Moving on to the wide-angle photos, and you can judge them for yourself. Now let's look at some times to zoom photos. You can see some difference in colors here, and I would say the photo from the Galaxy Note 10 looks more contrasty and hence crisper. But if I zoom into the photos, you can see that these photos look equally sharp and both of them preserve lots of details. A few more times to zoom photos for you guys. Next, let's look at the photos taken in the dusk. The photo from the iPhone 11 Pro Max looks brighter, while the shot from the Galaxy Note 10 looks more vibrant. I think we have a recurrent pattern in the next two photos. And a few more photos taken in the dusk for you guys. Now let's look at these wide-angle shots in the dusk. Wow, this sky from the Note 10 looks so dramatic. However, the iPhone 11 Pro Max produced a more natural-looking photo, and once again, it's always up to your preferences, guys. Moving on to the night shots. And yes, both of these phones have a night mode. And let's look at some pictures. We get a lighter photo from the Note 10 here, but the shot from the 11 Pro Max looks sharper. You can clearly see all the details of the grille, the concrete, and the ceiling. And in the next two photos, we have a recurrent pattern here in terms of brightness and sharpness. The next two shots were taken in more challenging light conditions. I was standing indoors taking photos through the glass window. If I zoom into the photos, you can see that the shot from the Note 10 looks a little sharper when compared to the 11 Pro Max. And also, you can see how different these photos look when it comes to colors. Now let's switch gears and talk about the videos. Both of these phones shoot 4K videos up to 60 frames per second. And first, let's see how good this stabilization on these cameras. These 4K videos were shot at 60 frames per second, and looks like the iPhone 11 Pro Max does a better job here. Next, let's look at these 4K videos shot at 30 frames per second. The videos shot at 30 frames per second on the Note 10 are so much smoother than the ones shot at 60 frames per second, and now it's much harder to say which phone has a better stabilization. Next, let's look at some static videos. We have some slight difference in colors here. By the way, it was pretty windy out there, so you can see once again how the stabilization works on both of these phones at 60 frames per second. A few more videos for you guys. and some videos shot in the dusk. And now let's look at some wide-angle videos. So guys, I can officially say that these two phones have some of my favorite smartphone cameras I've tested this year. Of course, there is no such thing as a perfect phone camera, I guess, but most of the time I get pretty amazing photos with the iPhone 11 Pro Max and the Samsung Galaxy Note 10. Let me know in the comments which camera you prefer. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and see you in the next one.